It's Wellness Wednesdays. It's Wellness Wednesdays, and this was supposed to be a gaming week, but I thought this was relevant. I mean, part of the thing I'm going to talk about here is when things aren't normal, don't try to act like they're normal. But you'll have to bear with me. I had my monitoring blood work uh, for the 3 month period because of the medication I'm on, and with the problems I've been having, I had really low blood pressure, and so it was like a little trickle, and it was a bit real. So I'm feeling a little whacked right now, and you know what happens when I'm whacked out? It's extra amusing, but I do feel a bit like sluggish right now. So if you see me going, that's why, right? So if you like this sort of content, help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/Leanna K, or buy a one-time Leanna Care session for someone who can use it but can't afford it. Coffee.com/Leanna K. We've met our goal of 6 sessions this month. Yay, which means the people who need them get one. I'd love to do 2 a month with everybody. Maybe I should just up it to 12 a month. I don't know. I just do the 6 because it's a goal, and then another 6 because it's a goal based on the number of people. I think the smaller the number, the better for the neurotypical people who watch this content. Don't forget about the workshop on how to stop beating yourself up. April 29th, that's a Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. You don't have to use a camera. You don't have to use a microphone. You can just join via chat with a pseudonym. There's a place on the when you buy the ticket. There's a place on the form to indicate what pseudonym you're going to be using. So I know it's you. Nobody else has to know it's you. This is as gentle, baby steppy as possible, because we don't talk about the connection between intense stress and beating ourselves up enough. Our brains are wired to say, stay down if we abuse our bodies too much. And stress, chronic stress, is one way we abuse ourselves. Stress, the physiological response to stress, has a purpose, right? If you're in a dangerous situation and, your brain is designed to kick into do something mode, it gives you this extra kick of energy in the short term. But, long term, that's really bad for your nervous system. That's really bad for your adrenal glands, which is why when people have adverse childhood experiences, it affects their reactions for a really long time. Retraining that nervous system as an adult is a challenge when it's been set in childhood, right? And so I'm going to talk about some of the things I did, because again, I'm having a reflective week because stalker, and realizing that tactic she's pulling on me again terrified me back in 2011, 2012, 2013. And I know that's why she's doing it. She's going back to the well thinking she can provoke a reaction, but I'm not scared of her anymore. And I think she's starting to realize that, which means the next little bit is going to be unpredictable. But we have a game plan. We have the information. I spoke to the local police about what the process is. And dealing with the cops is never fun because I get it. I have friends in law enforcement. I understand why things are the way they are. They see a lot of awful stuff. They see humanity at their worst. And so there's this edge to police that, isn't fun for the rest of us to deal with, but, got the information, all good. And that's one of the things I find is very useful when dealing with stress. The particular kind of stress I'm really bad at is having enough information to know my options and have an A, B, and C plan, sometimes a D. So if, disaster strikes, it's like, all right, this is what we're going to do. Having to make decisions in the moment can be really difficult. Knowing what the steps are is very comforting for me. Now, remember I said there are different kinds of stress. There are different kinds of stress, some people find it incredibly difficult to see another person having a hard time. It's so painful to see someone in pain. Some people get empathy overload. And if you wonder why your friends ghosted you at the worst point in your life, yeah, that's what it is. It's not your fault. Coffee. And they probably said some horrible things to you. Look, I mean, God, the coffee's so weak. I miss strong coffee. Fuck long COVID. Yeah, so as I was saying, it's not your fault people ghosted you at the worst point in your life. Some people are just not good at handling, the Samwise Gamgee thing. You can't carry it for you, but they can carry you, kind of thing. It is, to an extent, learned skills. It does have a lot to do with a person's inner self-talk in relation to bad feelings. I talk about this preview of the workshop again. There's how you feel, which you can't control. And then there's how you feel about how you feel. And handling stress comes down to, okay, I'm stressed right now. These are the reasons why. They're valid reasons. These are not normal times. Don't act like they're normal. There's that. Or there's, come on, suck it up. Don't be a baby. All that stuff. And the thing about your inner self-talk is that it informs what you read into other situations, right? So that, they're just lying, or things like that. That people who do things like that without, here are the signs that this is dodging something. That's a sign that those people have very negative self-talk. And it's holding them back. It makes it harder to deal with stress. It makes it harder to recover from adversity and disappointment. And a lot of this stuff may sound counterintuitive, but it's all about working with how the brain works instead of working against how the brain works. Because if you work against how the brain works, you're not going to be very successful, right? You're running up the down escalator. Yeah, you might eventually get to the top, but it takes a lot more damn energy, right? You're swimming against the current. It's much more productive and resource efficient to work with how the brain works. And every time I talk about this, I get one person going, no, here's this article from usually some sort of conservative site or self-help site or holistic medicine site or something like that makes its money running counterculture, running, what they don't want you to know kind of things. The science is the science. Science reporting is terrible. So it's possible to find one or two studies to back up any point of view. But that doesn't mean it's consensus, right? So the thing about stress is it is designed for a very specific purpose. To get you up and moving and away from the danger, right? Or stomp the danger flat, depending on how you're wired. And so if you can move around, right? Even if it's something as simple as cleaning up your office, which I need to do. By the way, yes, Slimer is back. I'm glad you noticed that person who inquired about Slimer. I put that there for you, man. But yeah, if you can get up and move, good. If you can breathe, just slow, deep breaths, because slow breath counteracts the physiological response of you breathe faster, your heart beats faster, you get that burst of additional oxygen flying through the body, but then you're exhausted afterwards, right? And especially if you're like me, who has health conditions that are exacerbated and attacks are triggered by stress. Welcome to my week. You got to do everything you possibly can to bring the surge down. It's like, in a video game, you can only take so much damage before your health bar depletes. So you either have to reduce the damage or use heals or, have that. It's like stress is like going through those portions in a From Software game where you're taking constant damage, like the Scarlet Rot pools in Elden Ring. And so you're taking constant damage, constant chip damage, right? And so you have to figure out a way to mitigate against that constant hits on your health. And Elden Ring is especially a good metaphor for stress management, because not only are you getting those health hits, but you've got, the rot buildup meter or the poison buildup meter. And every type of meter has a different consequence when it hits the top. With Scarlet Rot or poison or anything like that, you can just heal and it'll pass eventually, right? Even if you don't have the counter, the antidote, or a spell. What are they called? Incantation? Right. Other types of damage. Like, what was it? Death Rot, the one that makes spikes come out of you, those bug-eyed things. Or Frenzy. It's like an insanity attack. And if that meter fills, you're dead. Unless you're like super high level. And I'm not sure even then. I never got that high level. I'm waiting for the DLC. But yeah. So some types of stress you can power through. Other types of stress, you do have to stop the exposure before you crack. And we treat that as society as weakness. And it's not. I compare it to walking on a broken leg. You may have to do it in the short term to get to safety. But the minute you can get that broken leg treated, you should get that broken leg treated. Or else, it's not going to heal right. And you might get an infection. And you'll get bone shards that could spread other places. The longer you neglect something, the worse it gets. And we see this as dumb. If your leg's broken, go to the doctor, get it fixed, right? We don't treat mental health that way. Somebody breaks their leg. Are they weak for going to get a cast? No. But when someone is under stress or when someone has suffered a mental or emotional injury, people expect them to just walk around on that broken limb. And the same results happen. So when you're under a lot of stress, treating it like it's a normal day isn't going to work. It's not. And that's invalidating yourself, which adds to the stress. What do you absolutely need to do? Okay, do that. But our idea of what we need to do is usually off. I know for me it is. A lot of times I set stupid high expectations of myself, and I've learned more and more, nobody but me is actually expecting the level I am. And you guys helped me learn that a lot. And so recognizing this isn't normal, what can I set aside because, my resources are being taken up by something else. All right. These are the things I have to do. These are the things I'd like to do. And it's really important to do a few things that you like to do when you're under stress. Distraction sometimes is the right call when it's something that you just have to get through. Like, I can't stand going for this blood work. I hate it. Like, I hate The Sims. Hey, I haven't said that joke in a while. I hate The Sims. I can't stand because I have lousy veins. I have health conditions that lower my blood pressure. It's always a pig and a literal poke. And my blood pressure is low right now. So it was like this trickle. So I'm sitting here with the damn needle in my arm, waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, right? And they use the little baby thing on me, so I kind of like it because and the blood goes whoo, and it's like a video game. It's like cool. I'm like wee. Yeah, I'm a weirdo. But I start talking to the technician while it's going on, and at first they're like, okay, this is weird. People don't normally talk, but what am I supposed to do? Sit there thinking about the fact that, blood is draining? Or just go, this is what I have to do. We're just going to get through it. But I did have trouble concentrating yesterday on certain things. It is what it was. I'll do Twitch tonight. I'll get up Wednesday. Hopefully I won't feel like I've been hit by a bus like I was this morning. Yes, I'm recording this yesterday. And I'll catch up. Or I won't. It's not the end of the world either way. And it really is those expectations you set on yourself that helps you deal with stress in a more efficient, effective way. And if you want to know more, come to the workshop on the 29th. This is one of these things where the details work differently for everybody, which is why it's nice when you do things where you can actually take the specific examples of someone's experience and apply things, because there are exceptions to everything, right? Specific circumstances mean that specific ways of doing things may not work in that case, even though the underlying science is still the same. It's the particulars that people get caught up in. So again, 2-for-1 tickets. So, and there are, if you want to donate a ticket, you can do that as well. Just indicate that on the purchase form. There are some, I'm still trying to figure out how to handle distributing the donated tickets, but that's an option as well. But we shall talk more about this as the weeks go on. I'm feeling myself slip, so I'm going to call it. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron, patreon.com/Leanna K, or buy a one-time Leanna Care session for someone who can use it but can't afford it, coffee.com/Leanna K, or buy a ticket to the workshop, April 29th, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Link in the description box below. Thanks for watching and be well.